On this episode of the Cultivate Beauty podcast, I want to share some tips and tricks with you guys on how I like to figure out my cost per service, my cost of doing business, and use all that information to come up with my menu pricing. Now, disclaimer, I am not a professional licensed financial advisor. Everything I discuss in this episode are simply the things that I do to come up with these numbers and plan around them. So if you think that this might benefit you in some sort of way, stay tuned. Welcome to the Cultivate Beauty podcast. I am your host, Kelly Torrance, and this is a show where we come together and have some honest conversations about what it's really like to work, grow, thrive, and survive in the beauty industry. My guests and topics are all people and things related to what's happening right now in our salons, behind the chair, in the treatment room, in our beauty schools, in our training facilities, at the state board level, and beyond. I'm going to be covering all scopes of beauty. So if you're ready to help me cultivate a fun-loving, passionate group of informed professionals, then please sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. So I have had quite the time trying to record this episode for you guys. For some reason, the video and audio is getting unaligned as it's being transferred through this processing system. I use Riverside.fm. It's supposed to be a great system. It's what I've used so far, and it's worked like flawlessly, except for my last two episodes. For some reason, the audio is getting out of sync from the video, and it takes them nearly a week to fix it. So we are going to go ahead and just re-record this episode again, and this time not have my face across your screen. Well, maybe a picture. There might be a picture of me. I don't know. We'll see how this gets edited at the final cut. I digress. This episode, I am going to break down how I find my cost per service, my cost of doing business, and how I use those numbers to create my price list and to make sure that I know what my financial situation is with my business. It's very, very unfortunate that this isn't something that is stressed enough when we go through beauty school. Now, when I went through school, there was a little bonus chapter. I think we called it like Business 101 or something like that. And we did have another instructor come in and talk to us about how to kind of break down these numbers. I don't know. We might have spent 2 hours max on this. And I used some of those tips from that class today, but I have found how to make it make more sense now that I'm living it and in it and do it all the time. So I want to share those with you just in case you think that this might work with your business. If this makes sense to your brain, great. Again, I want to emphasize the fact that I am not a financial planner. I'm not a professional licensed financial planner. Okay. These are all things that I do in my business. And if they help somebody else, amazing. So let's go. First off, why is it important to know these numbers? Well, a part of being a business owner is doing business and understanding our financial standing. And when we are in a good financial spot to make equipment upgrades, product upgrades, when we can financially take on a new employee, take that business trip, take additional training courses. If you don't know what your cost of doing business is, then how are you really coming up with your price per service? How are you creating that price list? Is it based off of just what the person down the street is charging? Like, don't get me wrong. The whole charge your worth definitely plays a part in how I come up with this, but it's not the whole part. And I want to share that with you. Now, we are going to start off with talking about the cost of just having our business, not necessarily the cost per service, but sorry, that's my microphone squeaking. Hold on. Let me fix this. Why? Okay. Lord have mercy. It's the most Monday ever. All right. So again, cost of just having our business, the cost of what it takes to just open our doors and take clients. We're going to start here. What I want you to do is get a piece of paper, something to write with, a calculator, and internet access, whether that's your laptop, computer, tablet, phone, whatever. I want you first make a list of all of your business-related monthly expenses. For example, your rent, your PG&E, your phone, your booking system, your internet, your alarm or security, your insurance, office supplies, bathroom supplies, salon supplies, maybe licensing and permits. If there's a license or permit you have to renew on an annual basis, we're going to break that down per month. Do you have a music streaming service? Okay, that's what I've got just as an example here. Now the licensing and permits, I just wanted to throw that out there because every state is different. And so some states, some counties, they're going to require those permits and those renewals done annually, maybe every 5 years. It's all different. So I'm going to leave that out of the examples today, but I wanted to throw that in there just so if that pertains to you, it's noted. Okay. I'm trying to use pretty like easy round numbers as well. These aren't necessarily my numbers. It's just what easy numbers. So rent, your next column, right next to rent, write it out. How much is it? How much is your PG&E every month on average? So your first column has a list of all those expenses. The second column next to it is going to be what those expenses actually cost you per month. Now, something like insurance, usually you pay that, it's like an annual rate. And let's say it's $400 for the year. Go ahead and divide that by 12, and then you have your average monthly cost. Okay. So in my example, I've got rent 1,000, PG&E 300, phone 150, booking system 40, internet 150, alarm 75, insurance 34, office supplies, maybe $50. Now that's going to be like your paper, your pencils, your tape, your staples, your paper clips, your stationery, things of that nature. Bathroom supplies. So it's funny, this one gets overlooked a lot when I'm working with my students. Sometimes you'll rent a spot and it's like, I don't know, maybe you're renting a room at a salon and it's usually like the general restroom. It's not one person responsible, but other people who are renting their own like office suite, they've converted into a salon suite. You might have your own bathroom. Don't forget the expense that bathroom. So your cleaning supplies for your bathroom, toilet paper, paper towels, soap, you get the gist. Salon supplies. This is everything you need for your salon, your products, your cleaning supplies, light bulbs, those things. So office supplies I put as 50, bathroom supplies 50, salon supplies 300, music streaming I just put $10. So in this example, my cost per month comes out to $2,159. That is just my cost per month to have my business. Now, I want you to take this just a little bit further. I want you to figure out what your cost is per week. So you're going to take that 2,159, you're going to divide it by 4, and that's going to give your average weekly cost of doing business. Now think about your work week. Do you work 7 days a week? Do you work 5 days a week? 4, 3? How many days a week do you work? I now want you to take that weekly number and divide it by the number of days you plan to take clients. That number is now your daily cost of having a business per day. This number is important. We're going to come back to it, circle it, highlight it. Don't lose it. We're going to come back to that number. So in my example, where did my calculator go? I'm going to say I take clients 5 days a week. So if my weekly expense of having a business came down to $539.75, I'm now going to break that down into a 5-day work week. And that now shows me that my daily cost for having a business is $107.95. We're just going to call it 108 just to keep things like nice and tidy. I'm going to write down 5-day work week breaks down to 108 per day. Circled, highlighted, we're coming back. All right. This next section is going to be our cost per service. We're going to have 4 rows within the section. So go ahead and kind of create that little chart for yourself. In this example, I'm going to be breaking down what it costs me to do a full classic set of lash extensions. We're going to start off by doing kind of the same thing that we did with our cost of having a business. First thing we're going to do is we need to write out every product we need to do a full classic lash set. Just make that list. Again, this list is going to vary artist to artist. Some people use products that others don't. Some use 3 spoolies through the appointment. Others might only use 1. Some people might go through 3 glue rings in a full set. Others might get through 1. Like, you've got to really customize this to you. The other thing is you should be doing this for every single service that you have on your menu. So if you offer 50 different services, you really should break down the cost per service for all 50. I know that sounds a little daunting, sounds very tedious. That sounds like a lot of work. My friend, it is. But that is part of being a responsible business owner. We have to understand where our money is coming from, where it needs to go first, and where we can save it for later, and when and how we can pay ourselves. Again, my friends, there is more to being a business owner than just providing a great service and good customer service. We have to be smart about the business side of our business. And I wish beauty schools did more to get everyone a little more on board with what that looks like on a business level. Okay, let's jump into our cost per service. Now, in my list for a classic lash set, I've written down 3 classic lash trays because I like to use at minimum 3 different sizes in my sets. Adhesive, primer, bonder, spoolies, glue rings, micro swabs, tape, and iPads. You customize that to however suits you. Next column, I'm going to need you to hop online, utilize that internet access, and find out what each item costs you to purchase. For example, lash trays, Forever Adored lash trays, are $13 a piece, and I need at least 3 of them to do this set. So 13 times 3 is $39. So my cost for 3 lash trays, $39. Full-size adhesive, $35, primer, $20, bonder, $45, spoolies, $4, glue rings, $5.50, micro swabs, $4, tape, $1.75 for a roll, and a pack of iPads, $7.98. That's row 2. Now in row 3, I want you to estimate how many clients or uses you get out of that product before it runs out. So I like to think I can get about 10 clients out of 1 lash tray. So I write 10. Adhesive, approximately 25. Primer, I could probably get about 40 uses. Bonder, 40 uses. They're very large jars at Forever Adored. Spoolies come in a pack of 50. Glue rings come in a pack of 100. Micro swabs come in a pack of 100. I can get about 25 clients out of a roll of tape. And our iPads come in pairs of 25. That's row 3. Now it's time for some math. In row 4, you're going to divide your cost by your uses. So if my 3 lash trays cost me $39 and I can get 10 uses, that cost comes out to $3.90 just for the little lash extensions. Adhesive, if I can get about 25 clients out of a bottle, then 35 divided by 25 means that my cost per use is $1.40. You are going to do that for every single item on your list for this service. Once you have that broken down, you're going to tally it up. And guess what that total is, my friend? Yes, your cost per service. Boom. So in my example here, a full classic lash set costs $7.50 in product. Okay? Again, these are estimates. You need to change these numbers based on products you actually use. But in this example, a full set of classic lashes costs me $7.50 to provide. Now, we don't stop there. That's the cost per service, right? How do we use that in coming up with price list? Well, obviously, we need to cover that $7.50. But we're not going to charge $8 and pocket 50 cents. No. The next step is figuring out what you want to make per hour. What do you feel like is a fair price for you to make per hour? Consider your time. but also consider your level of expertise and your quality of your results. That should play into your hourly rate for doing lashes. Now, that hourly rate can change based on the service that you're offering. Maybe I've been doing lashes for 15 years, but I've only been offering lash lifts for 2 years. Well, I'm not going to feel super comfortable having the same hourly rate that I charge for my lash extensions that I've been doing for 15 years into a service that I'm still relatively new at and getting comfortable with. See where I'm going with that? So you break that down to what feels comfortable for you. For this example, let's say I want to make $40 an hour and a classic set of lashes takes me 2 hours. Well, 2 times 40, that's $80 for my time, my experience, and the quality of my results. So you're going to take that $80 and we need to add in the cost of our service, which is that $7.50. So really, we need to be charging a minimum of $87.50 for a full set of classic lashes. Let's just round that up to a nice even number and call it $90. We want to charge $90 for that full set of classic lashes. Now you know the how and the why that you came up with that number. So if a client or another lash artist asks you, hey, how did you come up with 90? Does that really cover our costs? Does that really make sense? Are we really making anything off that? Is that too high? Yada, yada, yada. Well, now you know you came up with that 90 because A, you're covering your cost per service, and B, you're earning the hourly rate you feel you honestly deserve. That is where charging your worth comes into play when creating your price list. Got it? Good? Sweet. Let's move on. All right, guys. So we have figured out that we are going to charge $90 for a new set of lashes. We also know that our cost for just having our business is $108 a day based on a 5-day work week. So here's what we need to do. Let's say it's a Monday and I've got a new full set of classic lash client coming in and that's all I've got planned for the day. Well, am I breaking even? Am I in the red or am I making money in here? This is how we figure it out. We're charging $90, right? Right off the bat, we need to deduct our cost per service, which is $7.50. That means that out of that $90, what we are really pocketing here is $82.50. But Kelly, our cost for just having our business is $108 a day. We're short. My friend, you are correct. You are $25.50 short. But now knowing this, you can try your best to either A, get somebody else to book you, but B, what are some things we can do and offer to maybe upsell this appointment? Can we sell retail product? Maybe an aftercare kit, shampoo brushes, cleanser, a pack of spoolies for them to take home. Can we upsell another service? Maybe a brow wax, lip wax, maybe a little lip mask while we're lashing them. A paraffin hand soak, maybe while they're lashing. If you didn't know these numbers, you would think, I'm charging $90 today. I only work 2 hours. I'm good. Peace out. I've done my thing for the day. But now that you know that actually that $90 actually means you're short $25.50 to even break even. Okay, that's just to break even. You didn't actually make anything. See where I'm going? See where I'm going with this? You've got to have an understanding of the cost of just having your business, your cost per service, so that you can then look at your work week and figure out, okay, I either need to make up for my slow week last week, which means whatever you were in the red last week now carries on to this week. So you've got to hustle even double to make that up. Or, man, I had such a profitable week last week that, you know what? If I'm short $25 today to break even, I'm covered because last week was such a killer week. And you don't have to stress. So I know that that's a lot of numbers and a lot of math thrown at you. It's not difficult. It's not complicated. It's just a lot of tedious work and a little bit of research and some time to figure this out. But again, having a successful business that is maintained and that can continue to grow needs more than just a good artist. It needs more than just good customer service. Your business needs you to understand all of this back business stuff, the financial stuff. So once you get all these numbers put together and you're able to really kind of see the layout, I would highly, highly recommend that you visit these numbers every single year. We know that every year our products have gotten more expensive and shipping our products has gotten more expensive. We know all of that. But where does that additional increase? How do we make up for that? At what point do we raise our prices so that we are covering those higher expenses and still bringing in an income that feels fair to us and to our client base? The last thing you want to do is set your prices and raise your prices and drop your prices all over the map just because that's what everybody else is doing. Have a good grasp on these numbers. Have a good grasp on where your money's coming from and where your money needs to be going. Prioritize and be confident. Be confident in your numbers. I would love for your guys' feedback. I would love to know if this taught you anything, if this helped you with anything. I would love to know if you have another way at going about figuring out these numbers and what's worked for you, because I can guarantee it's going to help somebody else. So if you're willing to share that information, that would be amazing. You might even help me learn something new or see something from a different perspective. I would love to hear it. Thank you guys so much for hanging out on this podcast. Again, I really hope it's helped you figure something out. That will do it for this short and sweet, but very important podcast. And that'll do it for this short and sweet, but very important Cultivate Beauty podcast. Thank you guys so much for joining, and we'll see you in the next episode.